$10,338. That is how far we stand from 100K. We've got one more week in Dallas. And oh yeah, I just happen to be staying in a multi-million-dollar mansion as well. Roll the intro.
Hey, that's me, and I'm dropping out of college to play poker. I currently have $50,000 in my bankroll, but I need to double it and make $100,000 by the end of the summer, or my parents will disown me. And this is where we're currently at.
Since we've been running so well out here in Dallas, I decided to treat myself, splurge just a little bit, and purchase this nice little thing here. Welcome to my new home. Let's go check it out.
All right, so obviously this is not my actual home. We've got some grinding to do before we get to that level, but we are here for 1 week. As you can see, this place is absolutely ridiculous. It's like $15K for a week, but I'm staying with 10 other friends, so really it's just a bit over $1,000 for me, which isn't that bad. Now, a lot of you guys ask about expenses and why they aren't tracked into the bankroll, and the reason for that is because I keep my bankroll strictly for poker. I built it up from $2,000 over the past few years, and it's always been exclusively for poker. And so for all my expenses, I just have a savings account that is getting dangerously low, plus whatever little money I can make from YouTube. But anyways, back to the house. By far the craziest place I've ever stayed. And as you can tell, we've been here for a few days and have all settled in. But you already know we are still hitting the tables.
It's currently 9 o'clock in the new Airbnb. Place is insane. Nice little room here. About to play some poker. So I'm gonna head to TCH, bring you guys along. Let's go.
So we arrive, and we're put on a wait list for 2-5, 5-10, and a massive 25-50 game as well. I know a lot of you guys flame me in the comments for my poor bankroll management, but I haven't lost yet, so I'm not gonna stop swinging. But we won't be playing any of that 25-50 tonight. Instead, we get put on the 5-10 tables. And this was an uncapped table, so we decided to buy in for a comfortable $5,000. And in one of our first hands at the table, we have a chance to win a huge pot. We look down at a beautiful suited connector, 7-8 of spades. The button opens to 75, and I 3-bet from the small blind to 300. The big blind cold calls, and then the button puts in a massive 4-bet to 1200. The button is playing 3500 deep, and since suited connectors play better deep stacked, I would usually call this 4-bet. The issue is, his sizing was so large relative to his stack, it just didn't make sense for me to call. So I laid it down, only to see the big blind call and a flop of 6, 7, 8. The button c-bets, the big blind jams, and the button calls. The run out comes clean, and the button wins the pot with pocket 10s. It would have been over a 10K pot had I called, and we would have been off to the races. A painful start. But you can't think about the what ifs in poker. And so, we move on to the next hand. And the next. And the next. Until 2.5 hours later, we finally get some action. But oh boy, was this pot worth the wait. After being card dead for ages, we finally wake up with ace-queen in the hijack and raise it to $75. The under-the-gun $25 straddle 3-bets us to 400, and we call. The flop comes out, an incredible ace, 7, 8 rainbow. I'm slightly worried we might be in for a cooler against aces or ace-king, but to our absolute delight, our opponent checks to us, pretty much solidifying the fact that we have the best hand here. And just like looking at the Costco menu, I'm searching for value. We bet 275, roughly 1/3 pot. Our opponent quickly calls. The turn comes, the deuce of clubs, a straight brick. When our opponent checks to us once again, just like Sun Jin Woo, it's time to level up. We throw out a 1K bet. Our opponent, unfazed, calls once again. It seems like it's going to be a battle of aura. No problem for me. We go to a river. The 5 of hearts. Our opponent remains in his routine as he checks it over to us for a final time. The pot is now $3,350, and we only have about $3,600 behind. That leaves us with only one thing to do. We're going for it all! We put our opponent all in, my aura emanating like a blazing inferno. Our opponent looks sick to his stomach. He tanks, and he tanks until he finally comes to a decision. After minutes of anticipation, he calls! We confidently reveal our ace-queen, and he flashes an ace before throwing his hand in the muck. $10,600 pot. Max value, baby. We're on top of the world. So 10 minutes later, we decide to chuck in the $50 double straddle, only to wake up with ace-queen again! And I'm getting deja vu, as I'm in a massive pot once again against the same dude who I just stacked. He opens the $25 straddle 3-bets, I 4-bet, and he now 5-bet jams for $2,200. We're forced to call as we already had half of his all in the pot. There's no way I'm about to stack this dude with ace-queen again, right? Well, yeah. I'm not. He's got ace-king and the board runs out all lows. We get pipped and lose the $5,000 pot. tough. About halfway through the session, we're still up big with a stack of $8,000. So in the green 3K, and overall feeling good despite the lost previous all-in pre-flop. Heading into the next hand, we pick up pocket 10s in the $25 straddle and 3-bet the small blind open to $400. The small blind calls, and we're heads up to an ace-7 flop. 2 hearts. Very good for a range, so we c-bet for a small size, $200. The small blind seems to have an ace up his sleeve, and on the board, as he raises to $600. Scary for us, but we can't fold just yet, so we put in the call. The turn comes, another ace. If we were skeptical of our opponent's story before, we're definitely not buying it now. He now checks, and now with our boat, we decide to put out a small bet of $500. He quickly calls, quite surprising as I would have expected him to fold with a lot of his failed bluffs. In hindsight, this should have been raising a lot of red flags to me, but I wasn't really concerned we were beat. So when the river came the bricky 6 of clubs, I bet for a humongous $2,250. Now I'm gonna be honest, this was a mistake. I wish I had bet smaller to target 7x or weaker pocket pairs, as this larger size probably leads to folds from those hands. I'm kind of in no man's land with the size, praying he doesn't raise, but hoping for a call from non-existent hands. In this instance, we get lucky, as our opponent folds and clearly didn't have the ace. Not the prettiest hand for me, but a good spot to learn from. Regardless, we go up $1,500, and our stack is sitting real pretty at almost $10,000. Now these last 2 hands of the night are a bit peculiar. You see, we started playing the 7-deuce game for the last few hours of the night, and let's just say, I made a couple of non-GTO approved plays. Do not try this at home. Alright, first, we've got 7-deuce, and it folds to us in the small blind. So we raise to 75, praying that we can just get the bluff through and get paid. Unfortunately, both the big blind and $25 straddle call. Flop comes Jack 7-3, rainbow. Typically, I would check with the middle pair, but again, I just want to take the pot down, so I bet for $125. To our dismay, the big blind calls again, but at least the straddle folds. We go heads up to a turn which reveals the 6 of clubs. Here, I decide to slow down and check. Our opponent now takes the lead and bets $225, a small size, which I'm happy to call. And so I do, and we head to our river, the queen of diamonds. We check and flow, and now the big blind jams his whole stack for $1,650. That's about 1.7x the pot, and I am in an agonizing spot. If it wasn't for the 7-deuce game, I'd obviously snap fold here, but with the addition of the $700 that I'd win from the 7-deuce game, I wasn't getting an awful price to call. And because I was skeptical of his sizing on the turn and the river, I decided to be a hero. I put in the call, and he shows us Queen 10 of hearts. What the hell was this guy doing? And how did he just get rewarded for it? What a joke. Our stack takes a hit, and we now drop to $7,500. We head into our final hand of the session, again with 7-deuce. But we're looking for a different result in this one, as the low jack raises to 75. We 3-bet to $250 in the cutoff, and like Dr. Doofenshmirtz, our plans are foiled once again, as the big blind 4-bets us to $1,000. Now you might be wondering, why is this pot included in this video? Surely I just fold and that's the end of it, right?
I'm kind of retarded.
Yeah, so we call. We're heading to a flop with $2,000 in the middle, and we just happen to have the worst hand in poker. You might think I'm screwed, but this is where real talent proves itself. The flop comes 8-4-3, 2 diamonds, and our opponent bets $800. I look down at our cards again and see that we've got the 7 of diamonds. Good enough for me. I call. The turn comes, the ace of diamonds, and now our opponent checks, and it's our time to shine. I bet $1,000, leaving our opponent with $4,000 on the river if we were to call. That way, we could get him to fold on the river with a jam. But there's no need for that anyways, as our opponent just folds. We proudly flip over our 7-deuce and collect our winnings from all of the peasants at the table, on top of the nearly 4K pot. Our stack crosses the $10,000 threshold before we lose a couple of small pots to close out the night. And after a lengthy session, we cash out for $8,955, a profit of nearly 4K.
Just got back home at 4 a.m. Look how peaceful it is, guys, in the new Airbnb. Insane place. Just played a session at TCH, as you guys saw, and went up $4,000. Yeah, I mean, we're just on a heater at the moment, and I don't know when it's going to stop. So we're just going to keep on rolling, keep on going.
Our bankroll continues to grow, now up to $93,617. And to celebrate our win last night, me and the boys decided to hit the golf course.
Become one of
At this point, I had just a few days left in Dallas. Because we were in such a great spot with the bankroll, I decided to just relax and enjoy the house for the remainder of our time. So that's all the poker we played in Texas, and man, was it a profitable month. 30 days ago, we sat with only $55,347 in our bankroll. Now, we leave up almost $40K in profit. Absolutely mental. Our week came to an end, and it was time to head back to see the parents. And since we had to return our rental car back to Chicago, we were road tripping it back home. So we packed our bags and hit the road.
All right, guys, just got back home. It's 4 a.m. after 16 hours on the road. Absolutely brutal, but we finally made it. The Dallas arc officially over, and now the final stretch begins. I love you guys. I appreciate all the support. And remember, stay locked in.